Prince Harry's appearance in a British courtroom this week revealed more than just a legal dispute. It exposed a moment of profound personal isolation. As the Duke of Sussex entered the High Court, observers could not help but notice what was missing. He was alone. No spouse beside him, no visible show of unity. This absence was striking, especially given the reason for the case itself. The legal action was positioned as a fight rooted in grievances connected to his wife, yet she remained thousands of miles away. Harry's legal battle was meant to demonstrate accountability, justice, and vindication. It was supposed to reinforce years of public claims about unfair media treatment and personal harm. Instead, the optics told a different story. While Harry faced intense questioning in London, Meghan Markle stayed in California, reportedly dealing with professional disappointments of her own. The symbolism was difficult to ignore. A man who had upended his life to defend his marriage now stood without visible support during one of the most challenging moments of his public career. Sources familiar with the courtroom atmosphere described Harry as unsettled from the outset. He appeared tense, distracted, and less confident than expected. Several observers remarked that he seemed surprised by how exposed the experience felt. This was not merely about legal arguments. Court appearances of this magnitude are emotionally taxing, especially when they involve deeply personal claims. Spousal presence often serves as emotional reinforcement and strategic grounding. In this case, that reinforcement was absent. This was not a scheduling mishap or a last-minute conflict. The trial date had been known well in advance. The decision not to attend appeared deliberate. The result was a stark contrast between public messaging and private reality. Harry has repeatedly emphasized that protecting his wife was central to his decisions, including stepping away from royal duties. Yet when he faced aggressive legal scrutiny tied directly to that mission, the support he had promised himself did not materialize. The timing made the absence more conspicuous. The case had been years in the making. Harry had prepared statements, collected evidence, and framed himself as a lifelong target of intrusive media behavior. Expectations were high that he would deliver clear, consistent testimony. However, once questioning began, the confidence projected by his legal team seemed to falter. Lawyers for the opposing side challenged timelines, recollections, and assumptions. Harry struggled to reconcile some of his statements with documented facts. What became apparent was that preparation on paper does not always translate to performance under pressure. Without a familiar, stabilizing presence nearby, Harry appeared increasingly reactive. Observers noted moments where his answers drifted, revealing uncertainty and contradiction. The courtroom environment exposed weaknesses that might otherwise have been managed behind the scenes. One of the most consequential moments came when Harry acknowledged that his most intense media difficulties escalated after he entered his relationship with Meghan. This admission undercut the central premise of his long-standing argument that he had always been equally targeted. The opposing counsel seized on this point, reframing the narrative in real time. Harry attempted to attribute his inaction to institutional constraints, referencing long-standing royal policies. However, comparisons to similar legal actions taken by other royals weakened this defense. The contrast with Prince William's successful legal challenge over media intrusion was particularly damaging. Both brothers operated under similar frameworks, yet their responses diverged significantly. When this inconsistency was highlighted, Harry struggled to provide a convincing explanation. The moment appeared to catch him off guard, raising questions about the depth of his legal preparation. As testimony continued, Harry repeatedly shifted focus towards grievances related to Meghan, even when the case itself centered on events predating their relationship. Legal analysts noted that this strategy diluted the strength of his claims. By reframing historical issues through a more recent lens, he complicated his own argument. The narrative drift made it harder to maintain credibility with the court. Beyond legal strategy, the testimony revealed emotional undercurrents. Harry appeared deeply invested in reframing his personal history, yet the courtroom demanded precision rather than passion. Each deviation invited further scrutiny, each inconsistency weakened the overall case. The result was a performance that seemed more defensive than assertive. Meanwhile, back in California, the absence of visible support raised broader questions about balance within the marriage. This was not merely about attending a hearing, it was about shared burden. Public marriages thrive on symbolism as much as substance, and symbolism matters intensely in moments of crisis. The lack of visible unity spoke louder than any statement issued afterward. By the end of the first phase of testimony, the courtroom had witnessed something unexpected. Instead of a confident claimant delivering a carefully constructed case, it saw a man grappling with conflicting narratives, legal pressure, and personal vulnerability. The image of Prince Harry standing alone became a defining visual of the trial's opening days, one that may linger far beyond the verdict itself. As the proceedings continued, the focus shifted to earlier chapters of Harry's personal life, introducing complications few had anticipated. The original legal claims were tied to a previous relationship, one that predated Meghan Markle entirely. This pivot reopened conversations about Harry's past and the emotional weight those years still carry. The court revisited the period when Harry was romantically involved with Chelsea Davy, a relationship that spanned much of his young adulthood. Their connection had long been viewed as sincere and formative. For many observers, it represented a version of Harry's life grounded in relative normalcy. When this relationship resurfaced in legal testimony, it disrupted the simplified narrative that everything before Meghan was merely prelude. Reports emerging from the courtroom suggested that references to this period were emotionally charged. Some sources claimed that personal reminders of that relationship still existed in Harry's private life, a detail that fueled speculation and commentary. Whether factual or exaggerated, the implication alone added tension to an already strained situation. The contrast between past and present became unavoidable. While Chelsea moved on quietly, building a life away from public scrutiny, Harry remained locked in public conflict. The divergence highlighted a broader theme: the cost of sustained visibility. As Harry described grievances tied to different stages of his life, the coherence of his argument weakened. At the same time, new information emerged regarding Meghan Markle's own relationship with media professionals. Court documents suggested that while publicly denouncing press intrusion, there may have been coordinated efforts behind the scenes to manage coverage. This revelation, if substantiated, complicates the central victim narrative the couple has advanced for years. The idea that some media appearances were orchestrated rather than intrusive challenges the moral foundation of the lawsuit. Legal experts noted that consent and coordination fundamentally alter the interpretation of harassment claims. If a subject participates in generating coverage, the definition of victimhood becomes legally fragile. What made this revelation particularly significant was the suggestion that Harry may not have been fully aware of these arrangements. If true, it raises difficult questions about transparency within the marriage. The man fighting the case may not have had complete insight into the media strategies operating alongside it. Simultaneously, Meghan's professional setbacks in the United States began to draw attention. Reports indicated that a major streaming partnership failed to meet expectations, leading to uncertainty about future projects. The disappointment appeared to consume significant focus, potentially explaining her absence during the court proceedings. Yet this explanation only intensified criticism. Public perception hinges on timing. Choosing not to attend a partner's pivotal legal battle while managing career concerns sends a message, intended or not. Observers questioned priorities, particularly given the symbolic value of presence during adversity. Further complicating matters were Harry's remarks about mistrust and perceived betrayal by former friends. He described a growing sense of paranoia, suggesting that past relationships had deteriorated beyond repair. Analysts linked this isolation to earlier decisions that narrowed his social circle. Without external perspectives, the couple appeared increasingly insulated. This isolation carries consequences. Former friends possess historical context and private knowledge. Should any choose to speak publicly, the carefully curated narrative surrounding Harry's decisions could unravel further. The erosion of trust cuts both ways. While Harry navigated these pressures in court, Meghan's social media activity drew intense scrutiny. Lighthearted posts contrasted sharply with the gravity of the legal battle underway. Critics interpreted the timing as tone-deaf, reinforcing perceptions of emotional distance. Supporters argued it was an attempt at normalcy. Regardless of intent, the reaction was overwhelmingly polarized. The cumulative effect of these events painted a picture of divergence. Harry confronted uncomfortable truths under oath, while Meghan curated an image of calm distance. The disparity intensified speculation about the stability of their partnership. As the trial progressed, it became clear that the outcome would extend beyond legal consequences. The case exposed fractures in credibility, consistency, and unity. Even a favorable ruling may not repair the reputational damage inflicted during testimony. Ultimately, the courtroom served as an unforgiving mirror. It reflected not only the weaknesses of a legal claim, but also the strain of years spent in conflict with institutions, media, and former allies. Prince Harry emerged not as a triumphant challenger, but as a figure at a crossroads, confronting the cumulative weight of decisions made in the name of love, loyalty, and self-definition. Whether this moment marks a turning point remains to be seen. What is certain is that the narrative surrounding Harry and Meghan has shifted. The questions raised during this trial will not fade easily, and the answers may reshape how their story is told going forward.